And with that, we welcome in those of you streaming the action. Big Ten going up in Indy, and a couple of great games as the lead game was won earlier by the Iowa Hawkeyes as they await the winner of this one, and that one is final as well. Purdue skating by Michigan State 75-70. Lead got as large as 13, but in the second half, the Fighting Tom Izzos did not go away. A 5-point finish. So that is a winning ticket, depending on where you bought it for the Michigan State Spartans. A backdoor cover and a tough pill to swallow, but it's boiler up as they take on Iowa in the Big Ten title game. CBS Hoops analyst Tim Doyle here to break it down. Tim, another interesting game here. Close-fought, hard matchup in the second half between Purdue and Michigan State, but Purdue really getting it done in many ways.
Yeah, you go through their roster and, a balanced scoring attack. They can go outside, with a guy like Jaden Ivey and the way he's been able to create off the bounce. Or you go inside with Edey. Travion Williams, it was like dime, dime, dime. He made every key play off the stretch. They have starters that deliver. They have a bench player in Williams that delivers. 4 different Boilermakers made 2 threes in this game. So incredible balance here. Hey, it's Tom Izzo. It's March. It's Michigan State. He always has teams peaking at this time. And the fact that his team took great care of the basketball, Joe, they were in this game. But I think at the end of the day, too much balance, too much talent for Purdue. 5 Boilermakers in double digits, led by Jaden Ivey with his 22. Spectacular stuff from him as well. I don't want to make you put a superlative on it here, Tim, but is this the most dangerous mixture of size and scoring in the country right now? Purdue's my pick to win the national championship. Are they going to win? I don't know. I haven't seen the bracket. I don't know who they're going to play, who's going to be healthy. And Gene Katie told me this, the great Purdue coach, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Mm-hmm. Meaning, is the team hot? Does the team have injury? You play LSU without their head coach. Like, so much matters in the game of sports. But you start breaking down their losses this year, the Purdue Boilermakers, for them. On last-second shots. I mean, that's nuts when you think about it. There's Tom Izzo at that dangerous 8-9 spot. Remember last year, Michigan State should have beaten UCLA in the play-in game. Mm-hmm. How'd that UCLA team do? They almost won an entire national championship. And Purdue's locked in there at the 2. And I think talent-wise, they easily could be on that 1 line if you turn around so many of their close losses this year. But you have an NBA talent, a top 5 pick in my eyes in Ivy, and then you have balance and bigs. I mean, it's so hard to replicate. I know Zach Edey can drive people crazy, but try being 7'3" and a teenager. You're still like figuring out your body at times, but he is such a force down low. Conference championships are hard to win because you're always trying to figure out motivation. And this is a Purdue team that, with veterans, Joe, I felt like at times you were like, all right, when are they going to flip the switch? I think that it's been flipped right now, and I am picking them to cut down the nets in New Orleans.
You make a great point about Michigan State. This was a team that was limping down the stretch, lost those 3 straight before beating Purdue in that regular season matchup. So live in that potential 8-9 matchup, as you said. I want to ask it to you this way then, TD. If that is your pick to win the tournament, we don't know what it's going to look like in terms of the regions and the bracket specifically. What does this Purdue team do better than anyone else? What do they need to lean into in terms of the word you always talk about, identity come March?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for them is they don't have a true traditional point guard. Mm-hmm. Jaden Ivey is a hybrid wing scoring / point guard. And, the old adage is what wins in March? Guard play. And they don't have kind of that old school director of like, give that guy the ball. But Ivey's one of those guys that's a rare talent that could do a little bit of everything. But it was interesting in this game. I don't think there's too many teams in the country that when they needed the bucket, it was isolate Travion Williams. And what he did, not once, not twice, but 3 different times was 2 assists out for wide open threes and then a sweet little dime for a layup. He's such a great facilitator to have, but they don't have that true kind of one, but so many interchangeable parts. And when they shoot it well from deep, like I said, 4 different Boilermakers made 2 threes or more. This is just an unbelievable finish by Ivey, and he is relentless attacking. So if they're able to spread the floor, that opens up the inside. I just think, and I grew up watching The Karate Kid, and what Mr. Miyagi told Daniel-san is something I apply to my own life, and I apply it to my gambling strategy. He told Daniel-san, most important thing in karate is balance. And if you have that balance on the floor, and Matt Painter has that balance with the Boilermakers, and I have that balance with my betting, well, I'm going to be happy. Okay, but once you start getting erratic and all over the place, you don't have that balance. Well, then, Joe, you got a different story.
I thought you were going to go with Uncle Raj like I gave you in the pregame. Purdue, you can't lay the points with Purdue this time of year. It was a tough beat. We're going to get you a full highlight here in just a bit. But let's talk about this Big Ten title game today. The matchup is set. Purdue taking on Iowa. If history tells us anything, it's going to be another game contested by just a couple of buckets. What's between these two?
Yeah, I mean, both these teams are very talented, right? You got Keegan Murray, who's going to end up being a top 10 pick. He has been fantastic in this tournament. I think his stock has raised as much as anybody's throughout the conference tournament season. Last time these teams met up, back in January, it was 83-73, Purdue on the road. Like I said, I think Purdue is the best team in college basketball. Are they? I think it's really close between them and a few others. But I love the balance that they have, and I think when you have a superstar like Ivy who's able to do so many different things, you have an advantage. There's some toughness there. I think they defend a little bit better. And the one thing we recognize with Iowa against Indiana was up 9 points late in that game, was Iowa has a hard time guarding physicality. And Trace Jackson-Davis really did whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. Well, now maybe you have two of those guys in Williams and Edey. I'm just not sure how Iowa is going to be able to match that. Now, how do you combat that, Joe? Iowa has the ability to go out there and score 112 points like they did against Northwestern. They just scored again. So in a game like that against Purdue, they go out there and hit 15, 16 threes. They bang it. They obviously could beat them, but I'm going to pick Purdue. I picked Purdue before the conference tournament started, and I'm sticking to my guns. The Boilermakers, Gene, Katie, and the Comb-Over get their national championship.
You don't get a man this sharp in the building and not ask for a number. Set the line for us.
I would say Purdue's probably going to be 3. I think that's a safe bet. Hey, Keegan Murray's been amazing.
Yeah.
When I watch Keegan Murray at Iowa, I see a lot of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And today, he was shooting the ball with so much confidence from deep, 6 of 8. You felt like every time he caught the ball, you were like, oh, man, you better have a hand right on him. Grant Hill kept saying throughout the broadcast, you got to be glued to this guy. And they have pushed the three-point line out closer to the NBA line. So they're going to have to find shooters. They're going to have to defend. But I think the strength is on the inside in this matchup and in the physicality. I say Purdue's 3. What do you say?
I like that number right there, 3.5. We're going to have all your winning wagers as we do each and every
I'm hot, Joe. I'm hot.
11 Eastern on Sunday. We'll pick that game and the rest of them. Tim Doyle, we thank you as always. And don't forget, there's only one place to catch the Big Ten title game. That's Sunday, 3:30 Eastern on CBS. We'll have full highlights, post-game analysis right here on CBS Sports HQ.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.